Investing News Network, and we're here at the PDAC convention in Toronto. Joining me today is Mercenary Geologist Mickey Fulp. Hi Mickey, it's nice to see you.
Nice to see you, Georgia.
I really like your tie.
Well, you know I'm from Albuquerque, so today I got my Better Call Saul outfit on.
I
right?
like it.
Wow,
Very clever.
Saul Goodman outfit today.
It's
so.
very nice.
Thank you.
At your presentation yesterday, it was entitled "The TSXV is a sinking ship. Can it be salvaged?" Could you touch on some of the points that you spoke to attendees about for our viewers?
Yeah, so we gave 7 reasons that over the last, say, 10 years, the Toronto Venture Exchange has shown a divergence with the price of gold. In its first 8 years, from 2002 to 2010, it pretty much tracked the price of gold on a normalized chart. Mm-hmm. But starting in 2011, it really started to diverge, and we looked into the reasons for that. We came up with 7 reasons that I could think of.
Right.
And of those 7 reasons, 3 of those I think are solvable problems. So I'm a bit of a problem solver. You give me a problem, and I'm going to try to find solution. Right. Four of the things, such as Fukushima, which led to the market crash in 2011, the Venture Exchange, the commodities bottom from 2013 to 2016. Well, we can't do anything about those, but the 3 we came up with is we need to kill the zombie miners. Almost 40% of the mineral explorers on the Venture Exchange and the Toronto Stock Exchange, mineral explorers solely, about 38% actually, 445 companies have negative working capital and have for a long time. And average length being about 4 years, and they continue to be listed despite the fact that they're only lifestyle companies mining the stock market. We need to get the TMX group to get rid of those companies, because they have the next exchange for delist. They can delist them and move them down there. They're reluctant to do that, right, because they generate funds, cash flow from those zombie miners. Next would be reinstate the uptick rule. SaveCanadianMining.com, led by Terry Lynch. We're working on that. Terry seems confident that we should have the uptick rule reinstated within the year, which would kill the naked algorithmic short sellers, which have destroyed the market. And then finally, we need to kind of beat back the big banks. They've bullied the brokers. They've taken the incentive out of brokers to make commissions on sales. They've restricted their ability to market venture capital companies to the average investor by making them all wealth asset managers, where you pay a fee no matter how good they do. And there's a lot of brokers would like to be able to recommend juniors and put people into private placements and take commissions on their sales again, versus just being a salaried employee, which is essentially what they are now.
Right. And you had mentioned these zombie companies that need to be taken off the TSXV. How do investors navigate their way through it to find the actual
Well,
good investment?
it's not that hard to do. You look at the financial statement, look at the balance sheet. Okay. There's assets and their liabilities. A zombie miner has negative working capital, which means it has way more liabilities than it has assets. And generally those assets, what they classify as assets, are based on the amount of money they spent to explore those properties. So they aren't really assets to begin with. Right. Just because you go out and waste $1 million drilling something that has no merit, that doesn't mean that project's worth $1 million on the left side of your balance sheet. I would argue that's a liability, not an asset.
Right. And your conclusion was that it can be salvaged.
Absolutely.
Right.
My last slide, rhetorical question, and the same thing, the title, the TSXV is a sinking ship. Can it be salvaged? A resounding yes, it can be salvaged.
Right.
Yep.
Well, that's good to hear.
Yeah, we just need to do those 3 things,
right, and
we'll have a viable market again.
Right.
And the first thing really is the uptick rule. I'm less confident that the TMX group will ever do anything about the zombie miners. We're getting nowhere with those people. Getting lots of good feedback and people on board. The TSXV is on board with the reinstating an uptick rule. Ontario Mining Association's on board. Ontario Securities Commission's on board. So that should happen, we hope, this year.
Right. And that's something investors should be watching out for, obviously.
Absolutely.
Right.
So for people who are interested to understand more about this naked short selling, I wrote a newsletter a couple of weeks ago. It's available on the website. It's called Standing Up to Save Canadian Mining.
Okay.
So it's freely available for anybody who wants to go to my website, mercenarygeologist.com.
Great. So we've been tracking the gold price, and
Yes.
it's been doing very well. There's some negative factors in the world that are helping it right now. Do you see it helping the other precious metals like silver, platinum, and palladium?
Well, yeah, so far silver has not participated. The gold-silver ratio as of Friday, I haven't calculated today, was at 96.5, which is very near an all-time high. The only time I remember, I know there's been a couple other times, in 1939, it reached 100 in 1939, but it's rarefied. So silver hasn't participated. It's not a safe haven metal, really. This demand that's going on right now and the rise in gold, despite a $90 loss from Wednesday to Friday,
Right.
The gold today I think is still around 1585, 1590 last time I looked.
Right.
We're very happy with that gold price, but silver hasn't followed along. It's safe haven demand. It got knocked down, the price of gold on Thursday and Friday. Margin calls, strictly margin calls. You know, people get margin calls. They don't have enough cash to cover their margin calls. What do? They sell their gold or sell their gold ETF or whatever. So, and the hedge funds are probably the biggest contributor to that.
Right. And now we talked about gold's ascent, and that hasn't translated to a rise in stock value. And a lot of times we think that if gold goes up, so should stocks, but that's not always the case.
Well, no, the stocks in a kind of market correction that we have with the potential for serious damage to the world's economy. We really don't know right now.
Right.
But gold stocks will not do well, especially the gold explorers. You should never conflate owning physical gold with owning gold stocks. Does not compute. Right. So in a bear market or a market correction like we have right now going on, I don't think it's over. But the gold stocks will not. The gold miners won't do well. They've got knocked down. The gold explorers will do even worse. Because those are very high risk, high reward stocks. If you're fearful of what's going on in the market, what are you going to exit first? You're going to exit your really high risk stocks, and that's the gold explorers. So people, and there's some newsletter writers and pundits, that commonly say, oh, the gold stocks are going to do great when we have financial calamity. Right. I'm going to call foul there.
Okay, thanks.